Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm doing a TBR, so that is a to be read list, pile, stack, whatever you got going on. This is kind of a stack, TBR stack. This is for the Reading Rush Read-a-thon that's going to begin July 22nd to July 28th. This is formerly known as Booktubeathon, and it has been rebranded. There's a new website and a whole bunch of things, and I'm not going to go into it because there's no way I can do the explanation justice. I'm just going to link the website in the description box and the video that the host did for you guys, giving you all the information. I'm just here to let you know what my TBR is, and this is super ambitious. So I work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. So 5 of these days for these challenges, I'm going to be working and not being able to read a lot. I'll be able to read on my lunch break, and that's about it. And like when I'm home. So this is a very ambitious stack that I have going on. But I did pick a book for each challenge, and I'm just gonna try my best. So the first challenge is to read a book with a purple cover. So if you watched my previous video, my book of the month unboxing, I'll link it up here. This is the Lock Every Door novel by Riley Sager. This cover is literally purple. It is purple. There's no disputing that this meets that challenge. I'm very excited to read this book because, like I said in my other video, I really like Riley Sager's writing, and I'm really excited to read this. I'm hoping that this will be a quick read for me. Well, it's 300 plus, so we'll see how that goes. But this is actually considered one of the smaller books in my TBR stack. The next challenge is to read a book in one spot, and I picked a really funny book for this one, but technically I read either on my porch, in my office, or on my bed. So as long as I read one of these books in the same spot for the entirety of the book, it will complete this challenge. I picked this book even though it's freaking huge. I got this book last year in my Beacon book box, and I haven't read it yet. I've been meaning to read it. It's Tempests and Slaughter by Tamora Pierce, and I got a really cool bookmark with this book. I should have stuck it in here, but I didn't. I really love this cover, and I've been meaning to read it. It's been sitting on my bookshelf staring at me, and I was like, what is a better motivator than this read-a-thon to get me to read this? So hopefully I will finish this in one spot to complete that challenge. For the next challenge, it's a book that I meant to read last year, and that book that I just showed you falls under that category. And then the book that I picked for this category is Scythe by Neal Shusterman. I'm actually borrowing this book from my sister, but I've heard so many great things about this book, and the second book and the third book's coming out soon, so I wanted to get a start on that. So I'm going to be reading this one for the book that I meant to read last year. But a book that I also wanted to read last year was this one. I actually started reading it halfway through and stopped. I don't remember why. I put it down and just never picked it back up. That happens a lot. You book readers know that it happens. You start reading it and you have complete and utter faith in yourself, and you think you're going to read it, you set it down and you forget about it. It's like it doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, that's what happened to this one. And this also fits the main character, a non-human main character, because some of these main characters are dragons. So yeah, even though the main character, I guess, is the boy, but there are also characters that are dragons. So this is going to fall under that category. For reading an author's first book, I picked 3 Women by Taddeo. I also received this book in my Book of the Month Club box. This is her first and only book, as far as I know. I did a Google search, and this is the only book that I can come up with This is a shorter book, and it's a nonfiction book. So I also picked this one because it will kind of break up the types of books that I'm reading, because I'm reading a lot of fantasy fiction books, so this will kind of be a little bit different. And there's also 3 women's stories in here, so that will break this up as well. For the next challenge, it's a book with 5 or more words in the title. I picked Gods of Jade and Shadow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exactly 5. And again, I got this book in my Book of the Month Club box. So I'm actually reading all 3, well, I'm trying to read all 3 of the books that I got in my box for this month. This is a little bit different than the rest of the books that I picked. This is a historical fiction book, and if you watched my last video, you know that these are not my favorite types of, like, not my favorite genre. The last challenge is to read a book with a film adaptation and then to watch the film. So I picked The Hunger Games. I actually watched The Hunger Games last night on TV, and that's what made me think about rereading this one, because it's been a while since I read this. The last time I read it was when it came out, like, or started to become popular, like years ago. I was in high school when it came out, and I remember everybody was reading it. It was so hard to get a hold of. Like, it was on back order at the library. Like, every kid at the school wanted to read this book. So it's been a while since I read it, so I'm going to go ahead and give this book a reread and then watch the movie, because I enjoy the movie a lot. I like reading the books that have film adaptations because there's a lot more content in the book than you get to see in the movie. And it's neat to see the differences between the book and the movie, even though half the time after you read the book, you hate the movie or you hate the book. But that's, like, I could talk about that in, like, a whole different video, like how much that, like, some books and movies, like, completely destroy each other, but I'm not going to go into that. And then the last challenge that isn't really a challenge this year is to read 7 books. But the real goal of this whole challenge is to just read as much as you can. I just picked a book for each challenge in hopes that I can read 7 books. But really, if I get 1 book done, I'll be happy. Like, honestly. That's what I'm picking. I've seen a lot of you pick Lock Every Door. I'm curious to see if any of you guys are also picking books that I'm reading for this readathon that starts on Monday. Let me know in the comments below if you guys are joining this readathon, and leave me a link to your Reading Rush profile and I'll add you as a friend, and I'll leave mine in the description box. Yeah, I guess this is kind of like my official introduction into BookTube. I think that's where I'm going to stay in BookTube. Reading has always been a big passion of mine, so I think I'm going to stay if you guys will have me. I am going to be vlogging during this week, the readathon week. A lot of other people are doing it. There's going to be video challenges, so I plan on just vlogging each day and just letting you guys know that I am actually reading, because that will hold me accountable. So yeah, keep a lookout for my vlogs for the readathon. And now, that's all that I have for you guys, and I will see you next time. It's like a hallway almost with old wooden paneling on the walls. And this is a 3P author. I actually